goats. They don't keep it thorough for 10, 20 years straight. They don't represent the city that they from. They don't really get it lit when they outside. They be needing the whole crime mob with them just to get it live. You heard me? Welcome to the Gemini Gems of the Day. Bless up. I'm super excited because I just reemerged as an artist, and it was in alignment because I literally dropped my album the exact same day as Kendrick. The energy is right. The energy is righteous right now, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. This is really a divine time to be an artist. So I want to talk about how to be an artist. You feel me? I want to talk about Kendrick's album. I want to connect the dots as far as how this is a great time to be an artist, and then going through some of the sentiments that I received from Kendrick's album. So we in Philly. If you ain't know it, let me show it. You heard me? Ooh, that sky look good too. We in the trenches. Yeah, we in the trenches every single time too. Live from the trenches. I mean, it actually brings me into my first point that I want to talk about. Live from the trenches, right? I had read this article from GQ from Future, and he was just expounding on the beef, where he initially answered the question with, what beef? What beef are y'all talking about? Because where we from, if there ain't no bullets flying and ain't no mamas crying, that ain't beef, for real. Why get yourself worked up and super invested in something that's not going, cause no real life to get lost? You know what I mean? More life. We live in more life. We happy with life. We don't want to stress more. People gotta, fight for their lives on a daily basis. Why would I want to fight with somebody over lyrics? So in the sport of entertainment, he had mentioned as well, like, dang, boy, Kendrick was on my song and said, it's just Big Me. Ain't no Big Three. Mind you, he talking about Cole and Drake and himself. And it's like, bro, you on my song. So I thought that was funny. Future is funny. But I think he speaks to an energy of something that, be prevalent, where it's like, how is it that y'all remembering and acknowledging these people, but not acknowledging and remembering the people that you're with? I think that's a sentiment that we can all learn from, where it's like, you could at least threw me an alley-oop on my song, right? Now, I found it a little bit awkward hearing Future talk like that, because that's not typically how he is. But he prefaced it by saying, what beef? So I'll go into saying that as well, where I'm like, there ain't no beef for real, especially as artists, man. There's competition. And I think people like to discount competition and call it beef, because that's what's more entertaining and polarizing to people who don't really care about the genre, care about the lifestyle we live in. This is what Kendrick was talking about in GX, where it's like, we don't take no advice. We don't listen to people who don't be a part of the culture. Like, that time is over. We're no longer addressing and attempting to get the attention of people who aren't a part of where we from. If you're a music artist, you've always heard the term in the music industry, maybe the last 1 to 2 decades, you need to reach middle America. That is where the predominant buyer is at, right? And what they're talking about is, middle class white people who don't live in predominantly black cities or communities due to the city and the urbanization of America, right? So that's middle America, the people who moved there because they didn't want to be encroached on by the climbing cost of living, the climbing crime rates, the decline in equity and viable resources in the environment. And so when Kendrick's saying we don't attend to their wants and needs in hip hop, bro, we don't need to be doing that. We and I'll use myself when I'm saying I used to have a commercial space where I let all types of people pull up and do their thing. What's up, y'all? Y'all good? Yeah, give thanks. You too, my G. So it's like, I used to have this little commercial space, and I let all types of people come in there just because I wanted to learn how to empathize with myself, right? So we're going to slow it down, because I had pain from these same environments, right? When Kendrick affirms hip-hop and, the black community and the hood and the neighborhoods we're from, that doesn't discount the terrors, the horrors, the manipulation, the trauma that came along with it. That don't discount that. But a lot of people who aren't from those environments, that's the first thing that they highlight. They want to highlight the blemishes, the scars, right? Which shows a lack of empathy. So that's what I'm saying. When I had my space, my initial point was to show empathy, for people who are dealing with their sexuality, struggling with that identity, people who are struggling with being successful through having a college degree, people who are interracial, people who are, experiencing, abuse, right? People who have PTSD, like all types of people. I was accepting all types of people so that I could learn how to empathize with myself. What if I can empathize with them and what's going on in their journey, then maybe I can find some beauty in my story or what I got going on, right? So the interesting part about people who are what I like to call visitors of hip hop, right? They don't tend to seek that out for themselves because they don't need it. Whether we die, overdose, exploit ourselves, it's all just for entertainment purposes. It's just entertainment. There's not an internal reflection that happens when a lot of these middle America or outside entities consume hip hop. To them, it's a form of entertainment. It's a way to judge people who are in a less fortunate situation and make you feel better about what you got going on, right? So I recognize that from having a commercial space and actually attending to people who had struggles that were different than mine. It allowed me to see the beauty in my struggle, right? Sometimes I would talk to a college dropout or a graduate, and as much as they had a discourse or like they were upset with their parents, I was able to explain to them like, yo, at least they were present. You know what I mean? Some of us from the environment I'm from watch our parents overdose, be incoherent, incapacitated. You dig what I'm saying? Like we saw the weakest, most brokenest versions of our role models, heroes, and guides. Your parents fought for you. Like they were there, present, and able to actually deliver you some kind of experience. Now, just because you might not agree with them, that's what your adult life is for. So I was able to just find so much beauty in my struggle, talking to people about theirs. And so that was something that I realized listening to Kendrick's album as well, is like, it starts with us looking at our ancestors and really like attending to healing with them. You dig what I'm saying? Where it's like, shouts out to Reason too. Why Reason Can Rap just text me talking about something, get off YouTube. Bro, squabble up. I ain't playing any. You heard me? So it's like, shouts out to my brother Reason too, straight out of Philly. That's what I'm saying, is like a lot of what they was talking about was healing that ancestral trauma, right? Where it's like, yeah, pops went through it, granddad went through it, granddad's granddad went through it. So it's not about chastising them. It ain't about castrating them and making them, they spirit be more heavy and more worried about what you got going on. It's about affirming them. Be like, look, my granddad back in 1850, he was the first documented Harris. Before 1850 something, all my ancestors in America had no documentation. So my granddad, shouts out to my granddad, my great granddad, for being able to document himself. Now, some people would be like, the super smart, conscious people, and I'm very self-aware and conscious as well, so I have the right to mock this. The conscious people like your black law and the Social Security straw man, and I get it. My dad, when my great granddad signed that paper, he signed us up for the Social Security system and the ability for the United States of America Corporation to leverage my labor as taxable gains and equities to leverage to other people. I get it. Okay, America, I got you. But shouts out to him for making the sacrifices in order for me to be here, for him to love my great grandma, have that baby, and give my grandparents a chance to live, right? And so my grandparents fought in the military. Well, one of my grandparents did. My granddad fought in the military, and my grandma, she was in the church. So on and so forth. This isn't about me. This is about being an artist and Kendrick's album. But I wanted to paint a picture very quickly of like, we don't want to just keep talking stuff down about the people who brought us here, because that's how we start feeling about ourselves. We can't see no beauty or no light in what we doing because we can't see the beauty and light in what they doing. So, I'll make one more point about Kendrick's album because I know that that's relevant, but then I want to start talking to you directly about your career. And if you've been here for 10 minutes, that means you invested. That means you value what I'm saying, you dig, and you willing to apply and execute on the things that I'm mentioning here. Shouts out to Spaces and Places out there. They just pulled up to the channel. You heard me? They said facts and all that. So one of the last things I want to mention about Kendrick's album is it's a bunch of slappers. And I don't even think that's the full album. I've been seeing some media outlets talk about it. It doesn't have all of those prominent records on it, like, Not Like Us and, Meet the Grams. Like, it don't have none of the diss tracks on it. And so from a business point of view, an average person in the mainstream music industry is going to incorporate them highly streamed and visible products, as they would call them, or we would call them songs. They call them products, because it's going to up his streaming, and then it's going to immediately give him like a platinum album. You see what I'm saying? So if he put all them diss tracks on an album and a couple other tracks, it's already going to be platinum because of how much it's already garnered. So those songs not being up there was an indicator like, oh, this isn't even the album. So we'll see how this video ages. But one thing I'll say is like this album was all slaps. You know what I mean? If you go on YouTube right now, it's not in the album section, it's in the playlist section. You know what I mean? I pay attention to details. So, you know, with it being a playlist of slappers, that just shows that he's actually still the best at music. I can get lyrical, I can, you know, create the art, you know, theatrics, and it's still gonna slap. And that's what I want to say to us as people in our community. Like, we always made stuff wavy. Like, everything we did, then you think K-Dot out for blood, or he just unleashing his thoughts and stuff? I'll answer that question after I finish my point. Thank you for that question, We Young. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? What we be forgetting in our community is like how fly we be. Like, have you seen what commercials have turned from in the early 90s to now? There used to be, hey, jingles, how you doing? That used to be a commercial in the 90s. Now it's hip-hop music. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop be in your commercials. Like, they be in your movie scores. Movies come on, they got Rick Ross playing. You hear me? Like, hip-hop has become, you know, a part of the veins of American culture now. So, you know what I mean? Don't sleep on it, because a lot of people want to underpay you. You know what I mean? Some of the older people don't understand. But it's like hip-hop literally is one of the most valuable exports in America economy right now. Like, without hip-hop, a lot of the products we sell, whether it be the NBA, whether it be sports and entertainment altogether, whether it be certain fast food and convenient products, like a lot of products are being leveraged. Movies, Hollywood, hip-hop. So don't leave. You see a lot of people looking for diversity, equity, and inclusion. But if you diversified the equity and then stop trying to be included, you'd be more paid. That's a bar. You worried about being diverse when you could be, you know what I mean, concentrated with your efforts. And instead of looking for inclusion, you could just stick with the equity. So I'm gonna call it the, you know what I mean, the equity play. We just want the equity play. We don't want the diversity and inclusion part. We just want the equity. You heard me? So thank y'all, and I'm gonna answer that question. I don't think Kendrick wants war. He said it in one of his parts of the album. He wants peace, right? I go through that where it's like, because of the way we had to support ourselves in these kind of environments, you know what I'm saying? The type of environment where cribs is boarded up, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just posted up on an abandoned crib, man. Like, I'm chilling. So it's like, when you come from this, it's natural to see war as an instinctual effort, right? And then you live in America, and we protect our borders, we invade. Like, it's in our culture to just be, you know, war first. But what I've learned about America, and what I learned from listening to that song, is like, the best way to go to war about this is being at peace, right? Protecting and building up your borders, securing your resources, investing in people who look like you. That's an act of war. You know what I mean? Being at peace. Because the people who are at war, you know what I mean, need something. They need propaganda. They need some kind of engine to fuel it. You know what I mean? You see? Oh, his devil telling him that he want that war thing is like culture and human. Exactly. You feel me? So when you go into your inner self, We Young, you go in your inner self and really recognize that God got a plan for you, and he gave Kendrick a gift to be able to go to war with his pen. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to be crashing out. So I don't think it was intended for him to want to go for blood, but I think blood has to be spilled. He said it. I see that blood is paint now. It's part of this, bro. And because I'm from this, I understand also what God placed on me, put me in these environments and show me what I wanted to see. Like, real warriors want to keep their sword sheathed, but they also not gonna let somebody invade something that is home to them. Hip hop is home for Kendrick. And like I said with my commercial space earlier, if you was here, We Young, I used to let a lot of people who didn't share my values as well, because I wanted to learn how to empathize with myself. And I think he grew a lot from being in hip hop. I think he grew a lot from being with people that wasn't like him, not like us, right? I think we learned a lot from people that weren't like us, but I think I think we almost got distracted from loving on us and loving what we do. You know what I mean? So thank you for that question and for responding as well and staying tuned. So as for artists though, right? One thing I see for artists is that this is a great time to actually be an artist. And shouts out to the 17 people in the live. I want to let me give a little commercial break right quick. I used to do these on Instagram. I got like 8,000 followers on Instagram, and I've never monetized on Instagram. And I was obsessed with being seen just like any other artist because we were told by the industry that if we were to get on these social media platforms and get seen, that we was gonna get to a bag. And then a nigga had to figure it out the hard way, like, oh, they not even trying to pay for real. You hear me? You know what I mean? So we on this direct-to-consumer wave because that's how it been in the trenches. You had to go do that shit you had to go do it hand to hand. You had to get to learn people. You had to have a real business plan. This social media vibe got people thinking that it's gonna do the work for you, and shouts out to the people that it did the work for. But like, as an artist, you're gonna have to really still be creative about this. It didn't stop. And plus we got way more tools now, so it's like it ain't stopping you to be more creative. I can create a music video in a day. You hear me? I can create an email chain in a day. I can create anything. I can create a whole song in a few hours. Like, so much resources at our disposal. So as an artist, it's time for you to actually be more creative. The industry is always going to be the industry. The industry not going to die. It's going to metamorphosize. It's going to mutate. It's going to change its face. It's going to always be an industry. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people ready to exploit you. Now, it's time for us to choose a side. Like he said, you ain't going to choose a side. I'm going to choose it for you. So like Prince wouldn't record no music with Nas because Nas didn't own his publishing, and Nas didn't understand that at the time, and he didn't get his publishing owned soon enough to do music with Prince, and Prince died. And that's real life. See, sometimes we think everything gonna conspire in our favor, but if we're not working in our own favor, the universe can't do the other half to conspire for us. So I'll tell y'all this as a testament before we get out of here, is like, I never ever really had to doubt that things was going to work in my favor until I started thinking and listening to what other people thought the outcome was going to be. So let me break that down. A lot of other people, they don't have, they don't serve anything greater than themselves. Family is the first rubric of how to learn how to work greater than yourself. Then, you go to school and you learn about your community, and then you learn about your city, and then eventually you reach the height and you get to God. You learn that God is the true thing to serve, right? Your whatever, Allah, the Most High, Jehovah, whatever you praise, you know what I mean? But it's always the source of creation that we go to. And so once you get to that point, and when you serving that, nothing can really rock your boat. Like, I've been on that path since I was 18. I'm 31 now. So a lot of things, I didn't see the things that had been formed against me, I didn't see people overdose on, get killed, get robbed, lose their spouse, lose their children. You heard me. Lose family members. I didn't see people lose their entire lives over the moves that I make. So what I'm saying is, the reason that I'm protected and the reason why the information and the blessings always get downloaded into my brain is because I serve something greater than myself. I don't really be doing this for me. And even when I do it for me, I check myself and be like, oh man, dang, that didn't really work as well as I thought it was going to work, because I was really just doing that for myself, or I was doing it for someone else's approval. Really. You know what I mean? So that's what I think as well as a sentiment from Kendrick's album is like, when you will lose yourself doing this for everybody else, because they are not really seeking out refuge in the same things that you are. So I've always seeked out refuge in God and the Most High, because the world wicked and they want to see you lose. They want to see you exploit yourself and do things that you wouldn't normally do. They want you to move around and not know how to choose. They want you not to win, man. They want you to lose. They don't want you to heal, man. They want you to bruise. Look, you see where I'm going? So we got to be the ones that, seek refuge in the Most High. So I'm going to let y'all go with that. Those are just some things that I want to affirm to artists. This is the creative community where, I share details and information and stories about hip hop, technology, and entrepreneurship. And then we build that community so that you can save time by using them digital tools. You hear me? Like, ain't no need for you to be spending all year doing all this hard work when, you got robots who want to work for you. You got all these things working. You got God working in your favor. Why are you working with people who are working against you? People who down you, people who criticize you and don't put nothing on your name. You hear me? Don't let nobody talk criticism on you if they ain't talking up for you. If I don't know that you out here talking up for me, bro, don't talk down to me. Stop. You hear me? So on that note, bless up and give thanks and praise. This was a great live. I'm happy I switched over to YouTube to be with y'all. You know what I mean? I really do. So if y'all haven't subscribed, like this joint, because it helps me. I already know what it does, man. You know what I mean? And the more I blow up, the more our views and our values get shared. Like, I'm going to speak for us. You know what I mean? If you feel the way I felt today, like this and share this, right? Love from Singapore, you know? Your stuff, well. Only got into rap music and stuff playing. GTA. Shouts out to GTA. You see what I'm saying? Video game culture brought you to hip hop, bro. I love that for you. You know what I mean? Lock in, bro. GTA 6-ish type. Yeah, I love it. We young out there in Singapore. My dog. My dog. I love it. All right, y'all. I'm going to see y'all later. That excited me. Shouts out to y'all, man. My dog.